Now, electricity is actually something, it's basically the flow of electric charge, and it really means normally the flow of these teeny tiny things called electrons. So whenever electrons are flowing, you've got electricity, and that's what we'll be learning a bit about at the moment. Importantly, whenever you're studying electricity, you need to know a little bit about something called an electric circuit. So I've got a picture of an electric circuit here, and most electric circuits are made up of at least three things, and I've got a picture of them all right here. So electric circuits always have something called a power supply. So in my electric circuit here, the power supply is a battery. But the power supply could be, a coal-fired electricity generator. The power supply can be coming into your house as electricity. The power supply could be a solar panel. Could be lots of things, but in this circuit, the power supply is a battery. Electric circuits always have something called a load. So a load is the thing that the battery powers. So in my example here, my load is actually a teeny tiny light globe. So the battery in my electric circuit powers the light globe. So we've got a power supply and we've got a load, and something else which most electric circuits certainly have is something called a switch. So this here is a picture of a switch, and the switch can either be open or closed, and that either allows electricity to flow or it doesn't allow electricity to flow. I want to expand on that a bit more in terms of electricity flowing, because something that's really, really important when you're learning about electric circuits is that the circuit has to allow electricity to flow, or electrons to flow all the way around the circuit. So in this example here, I've got a battery. An electric charge, or electrons, come out of this battery and they travel along this wire. And they travel along the metal part of the switch here until they get to this point right here. Then if this switch is open, so if there's a gap between these two little bits of metal here, then electricity won't be able to flow up to the top of the switch, and electricity won't flow around the circuit, and the light globe won't turn on. But if I close this switch, so if I in fact push down on this switch, then electricity will be able to flow. So these two bits of metal will touch, the switch will be closed, electricity will flow, it'll flow all the way along this bit of metal, it'll flow along this connecting wire, it'll flow into this light globe, and that'll be great because then the light globe will shine up. But importantly, electricity will continue to flow along the circuit to the other end of the battery, and then the battery will continue to push electrons or electric charge out, and electrons or electric charge will continue to flow around the circuit and keep the light globe glowing. But as soon as we open this switch, so as soon as we stop the flow of electricity, the light globe will turn off. So having a complete electric circuit, often closed by a switch, is something which is really, really important. Now, while we've got this picture of this electric circuit here, I'd also like to talk a little bit about how scientists communicate information about electricity or electric circuits. So if I was a scientist in one part of the world and I wanted to tell another scientist about my electric circuit, well, I could try and draw this picture here of the battery and the switch and the light globe and all these wires, but it'd be pretty hard to draw that picture. So instead, what physicists do when they're explaining electricity is they draw circuits in terms of their symbols. So there's a few different symbols with electricity. But if I was going to draw this circuit, what I would do is I'd draw a picture of a battery, or a symbol for a battery. And the symbol for the battery is two lines like this, one tall line and one short line next to it. So that's part of this circuit. I have a battery. Something else that I would draw on this circuit is, I would try and make my lines pretty straight. I'd also draw a symbol for a light globe, and that, a circle with a little semicircle inside it, that's the symbol for a light globe. Something else this circuit has is it has a switch, and this is a picture of an open switch, or a symbol for an open switch. So what I've drawn here in symbols is this electric circuit here. So just to show you which part is which, this here, this part of my circuit diagram is a switch. This part of my circuit diagram is a battery. And this part of my circuit diagram, this is the symbol for a light globe. So when scientists draw electric circuits, they actually don't draw them in terms of pictures, they draw them in terms of these funny little symbol diagrams. So that's all sorts of information about electric circuits.